It's been a little bit of a while.
It's been a hot minute, as the youth say.
As the youth, yep. It has been indeed a hot minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, life has been a little bit crazy, and other things have been going on, but
we're here.
We're here because it is a Nana night for our 4-year-old now, Anwen. 4, can you believe it?
And our 1-year-old son is sleeping downstairs after a nightmare. He's very scared.
A very big nightmare.
We don't know why, but he's asleep.
He's asleep.
So here we are. Welcome. And happy Pride.
Yes. Happy Pride.
Hi, Georgia.
All are welcome at our table, as long as you're vaccinated and you're clean and you're a good person.
Yep.
There you go. 3 things. And you don't cheat.
And we've talked about this, I think, before. Cheating in a board game. It is not cheating if it's an accident. Kyle often says,
I make a joke.
I cheated. I'm like, nope, you made a mistake.
Yeah.
Mistakes happen. Cheating should not. So.
That's right. And speaking of people being welcome, our little rap session this time is about...
Wow.
We went from hot minute to rap session. Stick it.
Clink.
Clink.
Which our son knows how to do now, by the way, with his sippy cup, which is adorable.
We don't always toast him with alcohol, but
sometimes
we won't say that we haven't. So speaking of welcoming people, the topic of personally created conventions, and just sort of a little history and an explainer of the 2 that are currently in our life and the one that we're kind of looking at
this summer.
For
the first.
Yeah. Ha-cha-cha. So I was invited, a good friend of mine invited me into the fold of something known as GeekCon, which I believe the first year I was in was the 15th year of it.
Something insane
happening. Yeah, and it was just him and his regional, and I grew up together, friends, and they would just keep, and most years in the beginning there was like a tournament. It was like coming together to play all different kinds of games, but there was one game each year that was the thing, that there would be a bracket system and everything. And so this being, starting in the early 2000s or late 90s, I can't remember, it was Magic for a number of them. Like Two-Headed Giant sometimes, Hero Quest was sometimes, but the change came at some point to be more open to every game. I can't remember the exact formula, but it's something about, takes into account the length of play and the number of players, comes up with like the pool of points, and then your place in the game dictates how much of that pool you take for yourself. And we just keep track of that over the whole weekend. That way, if someone wants to take time off from a game, that's fine. I mean, it might come back to bite them in the overall winnings. I did win the first, actually I might need a break and do some show and tell.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Posing.
So, 2000, I don't know how well this is going to turn out. 2018. It's a little dusty. Was it this one? So
Dusty.
It's
Little Finding Nemo quote for you.
There you go. We just keep coming back. So yeah, it is a candlestick holder with some hot glue, made it into this trophy-like thing with a wizard and a dragon and some dice and Mountain Dew, because it is a weekend where we drink a lot of Mountain Dew, and it allows us to stay up, start in the morning with, so this is like get there Friday night as soon as you can, play as late as your brain will let you, but Friday night maybe, go to bed a little bit earlier, so Saturday can just be like, get up, have coffee, have breakfast, play, continue to have coffee until you transition into soda.
Or different kind of caffeine.
Bubbly caffeine, and then you just keep going. And then Sunday is usually get up, maybe play a game, but usually just breakfast and hit the road. For those of us who live a far way away from the main group. And the first year I was there was my first time playing Rising Sun and Cthulhu Wars, and I kind of wrecked house on both of them. And they're pretty long games. When Rising Sun was 5 players and Cthulhu War was 4, and so I made some serious points, and then I won. But it was a great group of guys. It was just a super fun weekend to be like, we've had game nights. We've obviously played.
Right.
We just finished playing a game.
I won.
Fantastic Factories. Yeah. I took last night. Kate took tonight. So rubber match TBD. But in terms of like going somewhere and spending like the day, and it is where I discovered how amazing coffee gaming is. Like,
oh my gosh,
drinking or playing
Take 2.
Playing a game while drinking coffee is just
incredible.
Like the most delightful thing.
And if you don't drink coffee, I'm a warm, comforting beverage because it's great.
It's great. So
and I think too, what I love. I have not participated in GeekCon. I am an honorary member, and the people who hold down the forts for those who participate get honorable mention. I think it's so important that GeekCon happens. But what I loved about it is it's been going on 15 plus years. And once you're in GeekCon, you are invited every year. So you might just participate 1 year, but I love how you could be in maybe the first year, the 5th year, the 10th year. And
you may be states away.
You may be states away.
You always get invited.
But you always get invited. You're always welcome back. I think that's really cool. And then, it's become, for the people who are there regularly, a tradition. Like, if someone's hosting it, their family might go to the grandparents' house. Kyle stayed in a 4-year-old's bedroom, and there was like a crib in there for his younger sibling.
Kid rooms become, GeekCon sleepover spots.
So I just think that's really cool. And then your trophy was what you won that year, but then there's a traveling trophy.
There's a traveling trophy. Yep.
And I don't know.
I got a cool Star Wars shirt because. I did not come prepared with all the list of cool things about it. So there's a trophy that you keep. There's the traveling trophy. There is a number of I think he admits they're like bargain gifts, like geeky gifts. Mine was this awesome Star Wars shirt that
came in a Star Wars tin.
It came in a Star Wars tin, which is now my dice holding tin, and I've worn the shirt. They're all wrapped. You get to choose one of them, but then also cool dice.
You got a poster too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I got a poster with the Star Wars poster with the shirt, and then some sort of cool dice. And so mine were like this set of teeny dice, which I'm just pretending don't exist while we have a 1 and a 4-year-old in the house, so they don't become bottoms up
or up a nose
or young Kyle in the air.
Learning.
Because that's where I decided to store a cool piece of plastic that I found in Sunday school that months later was an ear infection. Don't do that. But yeah, it was like this really just amazing weekend. And
it's just like, I don't know, from someone who observed from like afar, because I'm like, Kyle, send me pictures. And it was just a very awesome way for a group of people from different backgrounds, and Kyle only knew one person going in, playing games and bringing games and learning new games and coffee games, and it's a sober weekend, which is awesome, as we are having our alcoholic beverages. This is my first one. I think that's important, at least for me too, to remind myself, like, you don't always have to have a glass of wine when you're playing a game. You can, have Mountain Dew or just eat a lot of chocolate. And
frankly, it lets you fit in more games.
Yeah, and I noticed that in a future con we talk about, when I was pregnant for 2 cons and I was unable to drink. So I just think it's a really great way to for people to get together and share what they really love. Because I remember in college, I was in Madison, Wisconsin, after college with a friend of mine. We walked past this room and there were all these predominantly men playing Magic. And first you're like, oh, they're playing Magic. I'm like, how cool is it on a Saturday night, all these people coming together? I've never played Magic in my life, but I think it's so cool where these people coming together to share their passion. And so just like this whole GeekCon, and I just think it's so cool. And to say my husband won the first year he was there, Sprinkle.
I haven't won since, but that first one was pretty awesome.
But you won by playing.
I won in my heart. Yeah, and obviously it's a play on, there's Gen Con, there's PAX, there's all these different like conventions where you have tons and tons of people, which one day I would really like to go to. Something, have not yet, but there's something special about like kind of holding space for that time, calling it a convention rather than like, oh, do you want to get together and play this Saturday? Because then people are like, oh yeah, I'll show up when I show up.
I think it's more
meaningful.
meaningful.
But to like call it a convention, like everyone sort of goes, oh, okay, and they put it on their calendar. We talk about it weeks, like months in advance to plan it, and weeks out we're talking about what games we're going to play and introducing the new people and everything. So I came back from GeekCon and had all these stories to tell Kate,
which I loved.
And yeah, it was super fun. Just like, if you're watching this, you play board games, board games make stories, and a whole weekend of them makes a whole weekend of stories. And we're like, how cool would it be if because we have friends in the area, and same thing, like we might be able to cobble together like a night, and usually if it's like a night of gaming, it becomes getting together, talking about what life is like because you haven't seen it. You fit in one game and you have some food, and then you're like, shoot, next time we'll play more. And so we're like, we should maybe try something that's, starts early, maybe not like breakfast early, but like brunch or like pre-lunch, and goes until as late as we can go, and see how that works out. And so PumpCon. Oh. Okay, hold on, we can edit it. PumpCon. That was better the second time.
Yeah. Okay.
So PumpCon in the fall, it started as when Kay was asking me what I wanted to do for my birthday, because my birthday is October 29th. Mark it in your calendars. And I was like, I want to just get together and play board games. Like, that's pretty much always what I want to do. And but there was also this idea of this convention. So like, October, Halloween, pumpkins, PumpCon, boom. And so yeah, we have this the PumpCon registry, which each year we have.
The first year was 2018.
It was the same year that I did GeekCon. We
perfect.
We put it together pretty quickly after it, and perfect example. This was just one day, but a whole day for gaming was 3 games because.
But I mean, like, yeah, we chatted a lot.
But there's 2 6-player games and a 2-player game afterwards,
and also our daughter was just like 1.5.
Yeah.
So she like napped at our house, and then I took her to my mom's for a sleepover, so it kind of got interrupted. But like now we've kind of, and then
so we had the next one in 2019 where we played more games.
And because Anwin, our daughter, was at my mom's house the entire time, and we cook food. We definitely play caffeine until it's a certain time, and if people want to drink they can. But the second PumpCon I was pregnant, and so that was where I experienced more of like
the pure caffeine
because I was pregnant and I was having caffeine because I had a toddler at the same time. So it's just really,
you weren't like slamming 2 liters of Mountain Dew.
I think I had half a Coke, and I was like, pregnant lady win. So it's just really
whoa
party. So like the first annual, so we've now had 3, and we've done it every year, which we'll talk about in just a second, but honorary our children, And then, and like the games and who won and how many people played, and
because we don't go as far as to make points for it and everything, but it is kind of neat to look back to see like how many people were included.
And who won, and then also I usually take a picture of who won with the box. And
I'll have to do editing magic and pull up some pictures of the chalk drawing.
And our daughter is basically an old woman when it comes to seasonal decor. She loves seasonal decor. So we have a ton of pumpkins. And so the first year I got all our pumpkin decorations, and so we have a lot of pumpkin decorations for PumpCon. And so we keep them around. But I'm really proud of, well, first of all, that we kept it going, but especially since we had it October 10th, 2020, pandemic. We had it outside. We talked about everyone's comfort level. Yep. We all wore masks. It was outdoors. We got pizzas for people. And Kyle's parents were in town, so they watched the kids inside. We played games outside. We played
games that could be
from like a distance. So you're like riding.
So we did pitch car. You just walk up, take your turn. You're really not like touching much. We did Dusk City Outlaws, which was the majority of this one.
That was a big one.
So I was running that, and so I kind of knew that like a lot of the games we might otherwise play are kind of out of the running. If at the time, hindsight's 2020, in fall of 2020, we were kind of all focused on like touching things as opposed to aerosol stuff.
We were sanitizing our groceries at some point.
So we probably could have been, as we were masked up, we could have been closer playing games that have components, but we didn't know. So
we did what we were comfortable with, and we
Dusk City Outlaws. I spaced everybody out on the deck, and we
have a lot of pictures. We'll include pictures of that. It was really impressive, and it was also like, I didn't tell you this, but I got really choked up just to be back with people, and it was something to look forward to. And again, like, I'm gonna get choked up now, bringing people together, doing what you love, and making it work. I mean, Kyle drives hours and hours and hours for GeekCon. We made it happen in a pandemic. Games are important, and I hope that that's what you get from this. They're important, and it's really fun. And what's really cool, there's many things, but one of our friends, Laura, she has now like put in a request for like 2021 PumpCon, we need to play this game. And so now it's becoming something. Life gets busy. We have jobs. Some of us have kids. Everyone has stress and busyness in their life. And so the fact that when you can find something to look forward to, whether it's a bigger thing, whether it's a smaller thing, but like I know, I'm like, okay, what are we going to cook for PumpCon? What are we, where are people going to sit? Kyle built this amazing table topper to go on, and it's hanging up like on a dolly. Is that what it's called? A dolly system in our garage for PumpCon. I mean, he was getting up and spending like so many hours before and after work.
Because our table's it's the table I grew up using, and it's a solid table.
Great for kids.
But when you actually put games on it, like Fantastic Factories tonight, 2-player game,
took up most of the table.
The majority of the table. And so the pictures I'm magically showing you right now will demonstrate how much space Formula D takes up on our normal table and how much it takes up on the table topper.
But this isn't just like a piece of plywood he like made. Like there's, oh man, when you like move cards on it, it's so like caramely and just so great. And so like,
and the sanding those edges took forever. I learned a lot on this project.
Worth it. But the thing is, it's like when I tell people we play games, and there's nothing wrong with like Monopoly and like all these things, but I kind of joke like it's the craft beer of games. Like they're just obscure.
There's more complex in a. Some of them are complex in like a difficulty, but complex like there's
unique.
There's and more depth.
Yeah. And so like I don't know, we just really like, needless to say, for our daughter's 4th birthday, I got extra orange plates because I knew we were going to be using them for PumpCon.
And we did.
Yep.
And it was great.
It was great.
But yeah, so that's PumpCon. And so this so Kate took a little bit to talk about me making the table. I will take a moment to talk about her. This was all her idea that she presented to me, because we play games, pretty often, as often as life allows us to. Which
with a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old and a pandemic life and teaching and just life.
Sometimes it's a good amount, and if you look at my BG stats, like there are weeks where it's just like nothing, because when we finally get the kids down, we are going to watch Netflix, or we're going to finally talk to each other and not be constantly interrupted. Parents, you know what I'm talking about. And so, like, we're not the type of people that say, like, we can't go to bed without playing a game, because then that would just
put pressure on it.
Yeah, and be unfun. But when it works, it's great.
It's great.
But Kate had the idea of upping the ante of our game playing to come up with a FrostCon, which, sorry everybody, you're not invited.
It's just us.
So the PumpCon one, we do kind of look to maybe expand that in the future. I think for the third one, we were planning on sort of expanding that to more people, but then COVID was just like, and
But we said that to COVID, and we still had it in a safe, comfortable manner.
We had a counterspell to their middle finger card. So FrostCon is pretty much just, again, like putting a name. It's like, knowing the name of a demon gives you power over said demon. And I feel like putting a name on, like, we're going to spend a day playing a game, like putting a name to that makes it just like special, and it gives it power, as opposed to be like, hey, we should plan a time next month to play games all day. You're like, 9 out of 10 times that ain't happening.
Life gets busy.
But if you like say, hey, what weekend works? How about third weekend? That's going to be FrostCon, or whatever works for you. You can't join FrostCon, but you can make your own. And the plan is just because we are approaching the threshold of little Oliver being able to stay with family, grandparents, and without us always being around. Yeah. And so the whole idea is to take a day where we get
and go into the night, and again, like just caffeine, and just
see what we can play,
and having games and talking. And because I joke with Kyle that I'm mad at him for having all these great games, because we just don't have the time. I'll finish a game, and I think it was for our anniversary, you made like a menu. Was it our anniversary you made?
No, for Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. He basically made a menu of all of our games, which now is already outdated because we've added more. But it's a great problem to have, that we have all these games, we don't have the time to play it. So we want to multiple times a year schedule a time where we can do that, because it's so important, regardless if it's games, hiking, bird watching, whatever you do with your partner, if it sharing that thing, and it makes you stronger, happier, and it makes you lighter. And so the fact that, like, games, we do a lot of things that do that for us, but I think games, especially during COVID, has been one of the biggest and best things for us. So dedicating time for that, and our kids are going to have a blast because they're going to be with grandparents and like, bye mom and dad,
Slam.
Bye. But I'm just so excited, because when life gets crazy, like I said, with GeekCon and PumpCon and now FrostCon, finding those things you can look forward to, make it important, make it special, and kind of like honor that time. So FrostCon.
Yeah. And it like, excuse me.
Nice.
It's still there. It sort of, the idea of like things that fill your cup and empty your cup. I feel like when you have, because we don't say like, oh, every day we need to like check the box and play a game, like that would get more towards like the stressful, like, I'm not like addiction, but like towards that end of the spectrum. But to like make hay when the sun's shining and say like, oh, we have our daughter is away for a night or two, like we can maybe get out one of our heavier games that we can't always guarantee to play
tomorrow night.
And or FrostCon, like not only some heavier games but just like more of them, that can kind of sustain you in those. I mean, as a teacher, like the summer months are some of my more available times, not the entire summer, but even still, life gets crazy, and there might come weeks where we don't have a lot of time to play. And like that, when I came back from GeekCon, that just like for days, for weeks afterwards, I was just riding this high of like this like hyper condensed ball of memories, like all these different games in quick succession.
Yeah.
And there, a bunch of days in there where I didn't get to actually play games, but I was thinking about games I played. And, but yeah, this is our games together. And it is already outdated, and
which is amazing.
So yeah, they're in order of number of plays, and I'm just putting some stats in here. I'll put pictures up there so you can actually see. But like number of plays, how many total hours we spent playing, the first time we played it, the last time we played it.
Again, very outdated now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have.
And then at the top are kind of like the general stats, like how many players can be in it, how long does it take. In parentheses, we put how long we've taken, like our average.
Because some of these time
hierarchy says 20 minutes, and our average is 4.
Suck it.
Then like...
It's not a competition.
Then,
but we won if it was.
Weight and mechanics, and then the bullets are like in our top 5 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1. We should just do top 10 next year, I guess. Or coolified with the box organizer. So it's just a fun way of, because instead of going into that room, which shares a wall with our daughter's room,
and it's above our son's room, our house does not hide sound.
It's nice to be able to say, what game are we thinking about playing, either tonight or again,
FrostCon.
Maybe tonight doesn't work. Something we definitely want to play a game tomorrow. Let's look in here and say, hey, what about this game, Pan Am? I kind of want to play Pan Am now.
I always want to play Pan Am.
So
but
good.
the thing is too, and I don't know if you're watching, like if you have this too, but at least for me, like there are certain games that hold certain memories. Like I vividly remember we kind of had like a second honeymoon at Joshua Tree, because we knew we wanted to have another baby, and we're like, we're not going to get away, the two of us, for a long time. We brought games. We had limited space in a suitcase. We brought games, and we would go hiking, and then we'd come back and play games, and then go out and everything. We brought games for our honeymoon up in Duluth, Minnesota, and I was pregnant for that. So again, I vividly remember we played a Star Wars, I think it was Star Wars Risk, and you had a beer and I had chocolate cake, and we're playing. You have these memories that you build, and Kyle included some of those for Valentine's Day gift, and so so FrostCon is just where we can have that dedicated time. And again, we love our children, but if you are a parent, it is hard, and I think you have that guilt sometimes of like taking that time for yourself or taking that time as a couple. But like last night, for instance, when Kyle taught me Fantastic. I was going to say Fantasy Factory, but that's a beer.
Also sounds dirtier.
Fantastic Factories. Our daughter, bless her heart, she just couldn't fall asleep and she was hungry, and so she sat for the part of our game eating a banana, watching our game. Now, was she adorable? Yes. But did we have that time alone? Nope. Did I lose? Yes. Was she sitting on my side of the table eating a banana? So. And
lo and behold, Kate wins the second night when the dead weight isn't on her side of the table.
She's not dead weight. She's our 4-year-old lovely daughter who talks nonstop. Yeah. But she was giddy about her bean plants growing this morning, so it's adorable. Yeah. So anyway, I think what this whole GeekCon, PumpCon, future FrostCons is kind of finding that when you find something you love, whether it's games, which is probably, if you are watching this, games, but anything else, finding that...
If not, sound off below. I'd love to hear your story.
Why you're here.
Of why you're here and why you got to this point if you have no interest in games.
It's that dedicated kind of sacred space of I am going to give this the attention that it deserves. And it's just it's.
Do I have a term for that?
What?
The magic circle.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What?
I mean, the magic circle is, I think, specifically that
For magic.
No, for games that like, if you outside the game, if you know there's a way, like if I just like look over here and I can see their cards, like it kind of encapsulates like certain, just like wouldn't be kosher rules, but also regarding like, you know, just hanging out on your phone like during the middle of the game, or like kind of giving the, like you're saying, giving the game the attention it deserves, is, at least other people may have different definitions, but the magic circle is kind of the space that everyone inhabits. And that's why board games are so cool, because it's this, it's a fragile thing. Like all it takes is like a poorly explained rule, or a player who doesn't care as much and like leaves, or just like doesn't pay attention the whole time, and then like the spell is broken.
Right.
But like that's why like GeekCon had such a impact on me. Like that never happened. Like the whole weekend,
people were all invested.
Was just like games of teaching to people who play games a lot, and which is not a guaranteed success. Like teaching to gamers, like it doesn't always connect. But you know, when you start playing, you want to give it its all. But
and I think this is a line from Little Miss Sunshine, like. Was that a burp face?
No, that was just a let's see what's coming up next face.
I think there's a line like do what you love and fuck the rest. Like just like it.
That sounds like Little Miss Sunshine, and also I condone it.
Just like, and I remember like I don't know, like I'm just coming into my own and everything. Just like if you love a game, play it. If you want to get people together, be vaccinated, but get together. I saw a good friend of ours, Claire, today. She was playing a game today with friends, and she's like, now things are coming back. Mm-hmm. And one of those things is that shared human contact. And if it's playing games, if it's getting outside, if it's all of these things. And so just FrostCon is going to be, you know, because again, I fake get mad at him because he's like, oh, I have a new game to teach you. And I'm like, I want to play like 10 other games that we have. It's a good problem.
Speaking of games, reviews. So I have two. I have a game that's new to us and a game that's not new to it. I think that's how, because we have a backlog, but also, you know, games that come in every so often. I feel
from
like
random like Kickstarters that you like contributed to like 14 years ago, and they're like, they finally arrived.
Yep, here they are. Which, by the way, if you've never backed a non-game Kickstarter, it's amazing. They deliver like a month later or something. I mean, I get it. I understand why. But anyways, so.
I have a question. Have you ever gotten something on Kickstarter and you thought it was going to be around at a certain time and it wasn't there at a certain time, and it ended up being like a year and a half late for someone's birthday? Multiple times?
I have a question for our viewers. Are you noticing my increasingly lengthy blinks?
Check close my eyes.
Well, first you have to choose. Do you want the one that's new or not new to us?
New.
New. Okay, then yes, close your eyes.
Okay.
I can't remember if you did this last time, but
in my hand?
You put it in your hand and then try to guess if you can figure out which one it is. Maybe a little shake. I don't think that'll really give you all that.
I have no idea what it is.
No idea?
No.
All right, you can open your eyes. It is Dune Imperium.
I love it so
much. And it is
This is my Christmas present.
It was. It was our Christmas present, and
it is so
good. Super good. And not to give away too much of our opinion on this, but this was, as some of you may know, the stars aligned, and the two hybrid deck builder worker placement games of Dune Imperium and Arnak. Something of Arnak. We don't have it, so I don't. Ruins of Arnak? Boy, I am losing cred. Came out at roughly the same time, and we got Dune.
Good. I'm messing up the box.
And it is super fun. And just so like we put our line in the sand, I personally I think the board is great. I'm just going to say that right out here. I know there's some people who said this board is boring and dumb.
Well, suck it.
And there's a lot of space down here.
Don't diss my Dune.
That there could be used for something else. No, this is the sacred battle space.
And please note, I know nothing about Dune. Kyle got me this game. I don't know. I don't know what Dune is. I don't know what the characters are. I don't know. All I know is that I love this game, and we had to take a little pause for a little bit because I got...
It is Dune, but she went to the dark side.
Oh, and we had to kind of take a pause. I was... words were said. Sad feeling. Very sad feelings.
Yep.
And we just had to take a little pause, and now I can kind of play for the fun of it. I got...
if fear is the mind killer, anger is the game killer.
But it's an amazing game.
It is.
I love it so much. It's just... it's a little bit more of a time commitment for us, but not now that we've played it so often.
Yeah.
And we both love it so much.
It's honestly more of a setup, teardown commitment.
Which is all Kyle.
Which we just did.
Because I just show up and play.
Right.
And then he leaves and he listens to a podcast for setting up and tearing down.
Which is
I just show
like
up.
Fantastic Factories we just played, and I commented how a great thing about that game is how like quickly it tears down, as opposed to Dune, which is like just south of convenient by a little bit of a long shot.
But it's such a good game, and
it is. It's well, I suppose before we give too much, I don't think this one's going to be too much of a big surprise. We got to close our eyes because we're middle school teachers, and that's how we vote.
Okay.
Remember, our scale is from 2 down to 2 up.
Oh yeah.
Are you there? Are your thumbs there?
And now they are.
Okay. On 3, we'll open it. 1, 2, 3.
I opened way too soon, but I knew what we were both doing. It's so good. It's so good.
Wait, but hold on. We won't do the reading other people's reviews till we do both of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Is that what we do?
I think
That's
actually, I think what we do is we do the 2 games and then we vote on both and then we do the reviews on both. But that's okay.
You know, we're winging it. Okay, for the second one. So this is one that is not brand new to us.
I think I might know. I knew it.
Well, you have to say it out loud.
Oh, sorry, it's Parks.
I mean, like, gotta try to guess.
No, I knew what it was. It was Parks. Haven't we done Parks before? Or we've talked about it in other things?
We talked about it in other things, but
okay. It's another great game. And I mentioned Joshua Tree earlier. Like, it's just, come on, you guys. It's so good. In every aspect of the game, the fact that it's national parks, like, if its job was to have a great game and want you to go hiking, mission accomplished.
Yeah, seriously.
Incredible artwork. The flow of the game is
inside
wonderful.
The cover is effing arches, which if you have been lucky enough to go to, you know it's like being on Mars.
It's like being on Mars.
But it's so cool, and all
and
of them.
It's just, and it's a beautiful game. And it's one of those, I don't know, like, sometimes when you're watching a movie or you're reading a book, when you kind of disassociate a bit and you are not in that space, you're in the book, you're in the movie. This is one of those games that happens for me. Like, I feel like like when I'm trying to gain that park, when I'm trying to reserve or visit that park, I feel for a split moment. And I want to say it's all different artists who do all the different parks. It's incredible, and
like box control.
Solid.
Get out of town. These like log things, and then there's the slot where the board goes, and then different things that all, as I'm dropping pieces, that all the now I'm going to turn it vertical, so hopefully things don't fall. It's just so, and the colors are just like super.
It's a really cool
rules about this game.
Look, and we've gotten some expansions with it, which is really fun. There's is this the memory one?
Oh, that's the Nightfall one.
Nightfall.
So Memories is a different game.
It's entirely. A different game entirely, but again, it's just, I don't know, like, I don't.
Nightfall is, so there are some games in hindsight, once you've seen the expansion, you're like, oh yeah, this needed that. The base game
What?
is. Oh yeah.
It's Archers at Night.
It's Archers at Night. It's wonderful. The base game of Parks is amazing by itself. When you add the Nightfall expansion, it just adds a little bit of additional depth. I want to play Parks and go camping. All right.
Hey,
well,
we should go camping and bring Parks.
Nailed it.
Done.
Well, should we vote on this one? I'm feeling this one's going to be pretty. All right, eyes are closed. Our thumbs where there should be.
Yep.
All right, open them. Just kidding. All right.
Time out.
Game off.
For each game sold, a donation goes to the National Park Service.
Yeah. And it's supposedly, at least the plan was with the first one, they're going to be sold in national parks, which, like, if anyone's ever gone to a gift shop at a park and they're like, oh, it's like Yosemiteopoly, which is, again, like, I grew up loving my Star Wars Monopoly, and I still have it, and there's just a lot of better games to play in that amount of time these days, but I still have it. I'm not saying Monopoly is bad, but, like, in terms of coolness of games you could get, like, if you're picking that up from a national park, that's way cooler.
And
but yeah,
makes a donation.
Give a donation. So
get Parks.
Do you want to do bad or good ones first?
Let's do bad because then we can bury them.
Okay. All right. So we're back. We talked a whole bunch, and so the GoPro is dead. And
I have more wine.
Kate has more wine. She recharged that while the GoPro is taking a rest. And aspect ratio is all weird, and hopefully you can see both of us. And we're going to finish by reading some goofball and some not so goofball.
So let's try this again. Bad review of Dune.
Bad review. Dune Imperium. Number 1. Cash grab warning. Dry Euro game with Dune-related illustrations.
Okay, yes. The characters of the movie Dune are slightly in the game.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
It's so good.
Well, but also, like, and this is coming from someone who is really interested in the Dune-iverse. I've tried and failed to read Dune 4 times. I've played Dune video games. I've watched every Dune movie that's come out. I love the theme, like the setting of it.
I didn't know this.
And there's, like, aspects of the different houses. The house is not as much, but the 4 allies you can get on the side of the board are all very that you can influence and you can get their help are very evocative from the book. So
and I know nothing about Dune. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Wrong.
All right, 2 out of 10. Tedious. Does absolutely nothing new. A Dune branded risk would have moved the industry forward about as much. The only reason I'm not giving it a 1 is the fact that my minis are an add-on, so this disappointment only cost me 3 hours of my life and $40 instead of $100. Woof.
Just done. I'm done with you. Yeah. I'm done. I just have nothing else to say. Go take a nap.
We're going to go to the good reviews.
Okay.
10 out of 10.
Thank you.
A stellar synergism of worker placement and deck building mechanics, abounding in fascinating decision points. Which cards to use, with agents, and which to save for their reveal effects, which board spaces to prioritize before opponents block them, how to heavily commit to a conflict. Pure joy from start to finish.
Okay, can we mention this person? I know we don't normally mention this person.
Kudos with a K and an H at the beginning.
Kudos.
From Australia.
Kudos to you, mate.
And then the other one, 10 out of 10. Nice game for my collection. Smiley face.
Okay, right to the point.
I can appreciate that.
Please note, the kids actually got me this for Christmas.
That's right. This was from the kids because they know how much Mom loves Dune.
I don't know anything about Dune, but this game's amazing. Okay.
And because, knowing mechanics, I know that Kate loves worker placement, and deck building was something that she had really become fond of through Fort.
Another good game.
Parks. Starting with the bads?
Yep. Okay, I'm sorry. Who can say anything bad about Parks?
1.9 out of 10. Mechanically really poor. Mediocre game, which is sad. The design is not enough. What the
Are you a mediocre person? Next.
Mediocre. Mechanically really... Okay.
That hurts my heart.
2.5 out of 10. Too tight. Unattainable goals. Overpowered card combinations seal the deal. Art is beautiful, but this is a board game, not an art book. Unattainable goals? What are you even talking about?
What are our thoughts about like profanity? I know we've sworn a couple times before.
I think we're open to
You. Next.
And I
feel like, okay, I'm sorry. When I love a game, it has a place in my heart, and you know I love my games.
I don't ruin that place.
And you don't talk bad about my Dune, you don't talk bad about my Parks.
Tread softly, for you tread on my dreams. Is that a line for something? I think it's a line from something.
I don't know.
Anyways, last of the bad, because there are just 3 really good ones. 1 out of 10. Good art, 0 theme.
0 soul person.
Oh,
who's that?
I'm not going to do the bad ones. I will say they're from the U.S.
Poops Magoo from the U.S. Oh
my
no, we're still going. We're still going.
The light is. We have to finish.
We don't have a 4-year-old sleeping next door. We're going it.
Okay, 10 out of 10. Backed this game on Kickstarter. I did too, because of the amazing artwork. Waiting for it for 6 months did result in high expectation, but was totally worth it. In addition, it's actually a very easy and nice game to play. Makes you really want to go hiking.
Thank you. Who is that? We're saying the nice people.
Ikreb.
Ikreb. Where's Ikreb from?
Doesn't say.
Narnia.
Ikreb from
Narnia.
Narnia.
From Narnia. Well done, sir.
We agree with you. And then last one, 10 out of 10. Love the art, love the gameplay.
Simple, to the point. Who said that?
Turtle Whisperer.
Where's Turtle Whisperer from?
Don't know. Also Narnia. A different part of Narnia, though.
The East.
The East, where all the turtles are. That's what other people think about the games that we both gave 4 thumbs up to.
Both. Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate.
But we love them. So, no,
Not
we don't
the
love the haters.
No, we love the games.
We love the games. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining. Sorry everything died. All of our
you know what didn't die?
Love. That's pretty close.
That's pretty close. Let's try that again.
Okay. Are we doing it now? Okay.
You know what didn't die?
Love.
FrostCon.